how can the Lions beat them?
Have you ever been inside the Lions' den? Have you ever been inside a Ford Field when it's a raucous atmosphere?
Philly's been inside of Ford Field, and they left 44-6 winners.
3 wins.
You know how many people this organization spurned, got rid of for Ben Roethlisberger?
Yep.
Nobody forced you to retire. They were doing you a solid because you were ruining the end of your career.
Lions are favored 3 times all year. Anybody guess which games those are?
Yes, I know 100%.
I knew.
One is
It's 3 of the victories I picked.
Okay.
I only picked them to win. I picked them to win, what, 5 games?
You did.
And it's 3. I guarantee it's
They're
Jacksonville.
home games.
Jacksonville has to
Jacksonville.
win.
Yeah, they're all
Yep.
home
Seattle.
games.
Yep.
Seattle,
Chicago.
Yep.
Chicago. But
That's it.
they're underdog at Chicago. So
Makes sense.
Put those numbers up there, Fletcher. We can go through it for
Well,
you.
I can't see
Good
that
luck
for,
with that one.
for
You can.
nothing.
You see that middle line there?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, here
Minus
we go.
4.
Okay. Let me-
-4.
There it is. Look back
There
there.
we go.
Take the mic with you.
The Lions are only more than a touchdown underdog in 1, 2, 3 games this year.
Early. These are early lines before anyone has played a game.
I think the Lions are going to win 10 games.
Last year, they were the best team against the spread. I want to remind everybody of that.
that
They
was
were the best team against the spread.
And as Maz says, Braylon, he says, Vegas knows.
Yeah.
Vegas knows. It's 5, 6, or 7.
Is that
Those
how I
are your
talk?
choices.
Is that how I talk?
No.
Vegas
I'm
does
sorry.
know, and Vegas knows that I'm right. Look at that. They picked to win 3.
So do you think they're going to win the 3 games they're favored against?
Yes.
Those are the only 3. And then what are the other 2?
Chicago again,
Think they beat Chicago twice.
Carolina,
That's 5.
and then I said that they would beat one. I said they would have that random game that they
Maybe
have.
Miami,
and
I
I
think
said
you
it would
said.
be Dallas. I
You
said it
did.
would be Dallas or New England.
So they're going to win 6 games according to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I said no more than 6. That's what I picked.
I think they win all 3 of their games they're favored against. And
I
then
can see them winning 3 games.
And then
too.
I think they beat Philadelphia, Washington,
Let me ask you
the
this.
Giants, the Jets,
Right.
the Panthers.
Let me ask you this question. Off what basis, and I'm not even going to go to all the teams, just this. Off what basis do you think the Detroit Lions beat the Philadelphia Eagles, who went to the playoffs last year, almost won the division last year, are favored to win the division this year, and they have added from free agency and the draft a team and a squad of players that has only gotten better, defense and offense. You look at the secondary, you look at their defensive line, you look at their offensive line. Their quarterback is basically the early stages of what Russell Wilson was in the beginning, because Russell Wilson wasn't Russell Wilson in the first 4 years. All he did was hand the ball off to Marshawn Lynch and throw it to the tight end. And now you had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Doug Goddard.
The Jets and Giants are favored
He
over
asked
them.
me a question. Excuse me.
I'm just asking you, how can the Lions beat them?
Have you ever been inside the Lions' den? Have you ever been inside a Ford Field when it's a raucous atmosphere?
No.
Philly's been inside of Ford Field, and they left 44-6 winners.
Well, we weren't very good last year. You don't play games based on prior year's information.
Yes, you do when you're talking about a team like with the Detroit Lions. You stunk last year.
It's
And
snowballed.
you stunk last year, and you had a good draft. Your free agency is nothing but players that were on the team last year, with the exception of 2 guys.
They could have been a 7-win team last year.
And they also could have been a 0-17 team last
Well,
year.
they weren't.
Yeah, exactly, on both of those accounts.
3 wins.
I appreciate the optimism. I'm just saying with the Philadelphia. You see, I only pointed out that game. I didn't even point out the rest of it.
Jalen Hurts throw 2 picks.
I'll give you the Lions and
Jeff
7.5
Okuda
on
back.
Thanksgiving. You want the Lions and 7.5 on
I
Thanksgiving?
don't play like that.
Okay.
I'll take the line. No, the Buffalo Bills are gonna destroy the Lions.
Okay, so they're covering.
They're gonna win like 50-6.
Okay.
Can't compete with Buffalo, but there isn't a game on this schedule
That the Lions.
other than Buffalo. Excuse me. This is the only for sure loss. Buffalo. That's the only one on the schedule.
Right.
One.
Okay.
Buffalo. That's the only for sure.
Not Green Bay?
No, a 7-win football team.
Okay. Not at Dallas?
At Dallas, no, it is not, because I think you're going to have to turn Dak Prescott into Dak Prescott doesn't have Amari Cooper anymore, and Ezekiel Elliott, to me, is done.
I picked that to be the game. I said that I picked that game. I said the Lions are going to surprise me. You know, Lions always have one.
They're always going to lie.
I picked that one to be the one. Like Dallas is, I agree with Ryan. Dallas is not the Dallas that we saw going into 5-0 last year. Well, excuse me, 4-1, because they did lose the first game of the season, although it was very close against Tampa Bay. They didn't know they were going to lose Cedric Wilson, the wide receiver. They gave away Amari Cooper. They gave away a couple of defensive linemen, as well as Lyle Collins on the offensive line side. They're in trouble. There is definitely trouble in paradise, and a lot of people aren't high on Dak Prescott that live in the state of Texas.
Without question.
Nah.
I want to ask you guys something now. I put something up here on the sheet.
Okay.
We talked about it briefly. Big Ben Roethlisberger,
Yes.
retired from the Pittsburgh Steelers. It looks like they forced him to retire because he's not very happy the way he was treated at the end of his career in Pittsburgh. So he is not a happy camper. He's learning to deal with it. You could take it from there, Ryan. I wanted to ask Braylon how tough it is to walk away.
Here's the story.
When maybe it's not your time.
Here's the story today. Big Ben had some choice words when asked about the sudden unretirement of ageless Tom Brady and Tom's triumphant return to the Bucs for yet another season. Roethlisberger indicated he was basically unwanted by the Steelers for 2022, telling a radio station in Pittsburgh, quote, "First off, my coach and GM don't want me back," end quote. Then came the cryptic report by the dean of Steelers beat writers, Jerry Dulac, who's wired into the team like nobody else. Dulac was doing an online fan chat for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. When someone asked him about bad blood between Ben and the Steelers, Dulac said, quote, "I would say it's very, very safe to assume that."
Listen, man, this is I'm gonna just approach the Ben Roethlisberger aspect of this. You know what? The hell with it. It's Saturday. This is bullshit. It is, and this is why. You know how many people this organization spurned, got rid of, tossed aside for Ben Roethlisberger?
Yep.
Do you know how many times Ben Roethlisberger narked on teammates or pointed out teammates or got teammates, you know what I'm saying, turned on by their fan base, by the media? How many times that happened? Do you know what I mean? Literally, they wouldn't draft quarterbacks or try to replace. They didn't even protect their future when Ben Roethlisberger was there, because they didn't want to hurt Ben Roethlisberger's feelings. They didn't even have a quarterback waiting. They didn't have a situation in place when it was all said and done because because of his feelings. All that they've done from Ben Roethlisberger, I can go down the list of players that they have gotten rid of or tossed to the side that were amazing players for the black and gold. And this is the conversation that you want to have. Nobody forced you to retire because you had something left in the tank. They were doing you a solid because you were ruining the end of your career, your Hall of Fame career. I watched that doggone in that Monday night game. Was it them and the Browns?
So
Browns,
bad.
yeah, that's
It is
when
the
Baker got
worst
sung out, too.
game I have seen in the last 5 to 10 years. Ben Roethlisberger didn't even look like a shell of himself.
Terrible.
Ben Roethlisberger looked like a shell of himself. He couldn't get the ball downfield. He couldn't hit open receivers. He was getting sacked. I felt bad for him. He was stiff. He couldn't move. They did you a solid by asking you to retire or pushing you into that direction. Now, I get it. Nobody wants to retire. Hell, I didn't want to retire, especially not that. I thought there was more meat left on the bone, but my knee didn't. You know what I'm saying? I still want to play. Don't be that guy who's having to retire. You had a Hall of Fame career. Now you don't know what to do because all you've ever known is ball. So now you want to come up and stay relative in the media. And it's like, oh, well, they pushed me out the door. Because now you want to make it seem like you had something left in the tank. Let us all tell you and do you a favor, Ben Roethlisberger. You didn't. You had a great career. You got 2 Super Bowls out of the deal. I think you played in 4. You had a hell of a career, man. Leave it at that. Don't ruin a situation. This is the only time I'll take up for the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the exception of Mike Tomlin. I will always defend him. They protected you. They did things for you for the last 18 years. Don't be that guy.
Well, this is twofold here. because you protect Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, who's that general manager? What's his name?
Kevin Colbert.
Kevin Colbert.
Former Lion.
Mike Tomlin, Kevin Colbert, and the Rooney family.
Yes.
This is what they do. When they're done with you, they're done with you. And they make you go.
It ain't Mike Tomlin that does that. Mike Tomlin
Okay, however, fine. Take Mike Tomlin out. When the Pittsburgh Steelers organization is done with you, they're done with you. If they don't believe you can win football games for them anymore at the price they want you to work for, and this is not a bad thing. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
This is how they've been successful over it because they have no personal attachment to anybody. It ain't personal, it's just business. When they're done with you, they get rid of you. And it's Ben's time. They're done with you. And they let you hang on for an extra year. Because you sucked last year, you sucked the year before. They probably did you more of a solid than anybody else because you were Ben Roethlisberger. But you suck, Ben. You're done. It's over. And how he can be so surprised after seeing it done to countless other players throughout the course of a nearly 20-year career is shocking to me. He's seen it happen to everybody. So, sorry, Ben, you're done. And if you weren't done, another team would take a chance on you. Do you know how many teams would be knocking on Tom Brady's door if Tampa Bay didn't want him? It's clear as day nobody wants you, not just the Steelers. So it's twofold.
That's exactly what I said.
I know, but I'm just saying.
This is exactly what I said. The only thing different is you didn't take care of your body like some of your counterparts. You look at Tom and maybe he's upset because Tom is now playing into year 2070, but Tom took care of his body.
You like how I agreed with you there?
I did. You look at the guy who was in his draft class, who was Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers took care of himself because Phillip Rivers played in the NFL 2 years ago, took his team to the playoffs and looked good that year. Still looks good now. He didn't take care of himself. They allowed you 18 years. You won 2 Super Bowls. Give it a rest, big man.
You're like, wait, that's what I said.
I just said this.
I agree with you.